Right, we'll grab a couple of hours in here now. It's late afternoon. I've been doing my pointing today, which is going quite well. Really warm, 35 degrees, so I've come in here, it's nice and cool. Had the joist delivered a couple of days ago, so I'm going to get the final full length joist in here, and then we'll move on to the next room where we've got the shorter sort of 3 metre joist to put in. The joists themselves look pretty good this time. Maybe one or two are out, but if I can get around 8 or 9 out of the 12 that I've bought, then that'll do me, that'll get this room finished. So yeah, we'll crack on with that. I'll go and cherry pick one, pick a good one, and we need to get the pocket in the wall cut out a bit more because it's just the size of the old joist. This wall at this side, it should go straight on because I built it up using the level, it's somewhere near. So hopefully, just have a half an hour on this end, go get a nice joist, get it in, and then move on to the next room. Got a packet here of 3 saw blades on for the saw that's kind of really coarse for cutting branches off, stuff like that. They're all still good. I'm going to put them back in the packet. First I'm just going to store them really well. I'll put them back in the packet. I'm going to drill a hole through the packaging exactly where the blades should sit when they're in, and then we can put them back in the packet and just put a couple of screws, put one on the underside of there so they're completely and utterly tidy and out of the way. Right, so I want to carry on cleaning this room out. This room that Becky's going to use when it gets really hot. Obviously we put a few antiques and got a few more to put in. Just want to put my strimmer back together. The drive cable broke on it a while ago, last time I used it. So then I got a new one, shop down the road, looks right. So what I need to do is put it back together. Should just involve putting this plastic sleeve back in, feeding the cable back down, and then popping the sort of strimmer drive head back on, and putting the guard and the strimmer head back on itself. So shouldn't take too long. Hopefully it'll be all right. And then we can do a bit more strimming another day. But like I say, I want to get this back together, get it back up on the wall, so I can continue cleaning up the floor, get this done this afternoon, bring a few more bits and pieces across, a few more antiques. We bought some more yesterday from the flea market. Quite excited about them really. I want to give you a view a bit later on. We'll get this back together and then we can carry on with the rest of the room. So, one of the antiques that we bought on Sunday from the flea market in Tamar was this lovely little sort of carry box thing. Whatever it was for, whether it was for tools or other things, I'm not entirely sure. It's quite basic, it's quite rudimentary. But it's got a beautiful handle on it that tapers in the centre and broadens at each side, dovetail joints. You can just see it there. Initially I thought it might have just been worn away, you know, by time, by handling, but I don't think it was. I think it was made that way. Either way, it's just a really nice detail. It's what really attracted me to it really. Princely sum of €5 paid. Has its issues, of course. A little bit of non-active worm. Isn't any real rot apart from the obvious missing slat in the bottom, which we'll find something appropriate at a later date. But for now, all I want to do is take the little bit of sort of chipboard out the inside, brush it down with a dry sort of stiff brush, and I've got the sort of pan scrubber, and then all I'm going to do is put some linseed oil on it, and that'll do me really. I don't want to do any more to it. Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. what I'm doing here, I want to put this nice decorative grill that we've got, just sit it kind of in the middle of this it's either an olive or a grape press. So I've got some old slats off the old beds that we took out of the house. I thought if I put them across in between the slats it could sit in, and because they're rusty and one thing and another, if I cut them off flush you're hardly going to see them, and then I can use the ends where they're at 90 degrees to mount the sprayer that I've just taken to pieces, because the 90-degree bit will sit into two hooks on the back of the sprayer and then go into the wall. So I've already angled that one using the hammer on the doorstep. So I need to kind of roughly see where I need to bend the next to this end, and then we'll hopefully drop it in, and we'll do the other one as well. That should drop on there, get the grinder, cut the end of these off, and then we can get the sprayer on the wall here. So I'll show you the final two purchases we made yesterday. This here is just a beautiful handmade sort of raw tying latch, basically door latch. It's very rustic, it is not symmetrical in any way, shape or form, but absolutely just loved its charm really. Beautiful thing, €3, which is ridiculous. We'll find a place for it somewhere, absolutely. Really love that, it's just a lovely piece. And then this, which is basically a signalling lamp, World War I. It's supposed to be 1916, so obviously 1418, World War I war. Yeah, signalling daylight, short range projector lamp. Obviously a really nice piece, a lot of brass. Would have been, I suppose, on some kind of tripod or what have you. It's got the largest thread here, probably about 20, well, about 30 mil, and then inside it's got what I think is around about ½ inch. It's going to be imperial at best, Whitworth at worst, so it's going to be difficult to find something for that. Ideally I'd like to put it onto a tripod, an old tripod, and you know, even if we just put a little tea light in there, it'll sort of project off the mirrored surface at the back, which is still intact. Everything there, it's all in really good condition. The glass, the bezel, all original holder, the reflector's perfect. You know, it's really nice. Paid up for that, paid €50 for it, but I don't think it's expensive. We'll make a really nice lamp out of that, so got to buy these things when you find them. We'll find a place for them. Right, what are we on? Wednesday? No, Tuesday afternoon. Come back in here now. Obviously you've seen the pile of joists, new joists we've got, so we can carry on in here the next couple of days. I want to get this last joist in this main room, last full length joist, and then go into the next room and complete that room as well, up until this point, up until the end of the wall. Now I just wanted to let you know what I've been thinking. I said before that I was probably going to put a couple of shorter sections of the joists going across this gap from the the joist on top of this wall at 90 degrees, using probably joist hangers into the wall, acting as like a lintel. And then I just thought about it the other day. I thought, well, what if I basically, rather than taking them off the joists themselves, dropped them down at the height of the joist, so basically sitting on this wall, going across into that wall, and then these final two joists would just sit onto those, rather than them coming off of joist hangers. I think it's an option. The one thing I need to have a look at is that's, if I do that, it's going to reduce the amount of headroom going through this doorway. Now obviously it was really low before, it was only about 5'8", something like that, really low. If we put them at the height of these joists, we're going to go up to about 6'8". If we drop it, the depth of these joists, which they are around 9 inches, obviously it takes us down to just under 6 foot. Which is fine for us shorties, but it means a bit of head ducking for anybody of a normal size. I'm just going to confirm with my laser. I'm going to bring the laser down the wall 22.5 centimetres, effectively the depth of a joist, and then I'm going to measure down from where the line is to the floor now, and just confirm and see what we've got, and we'll have a think about that. We don't need to do anything now because I need to put this last joist and then do the other rooms before I get to that point. So we've got a few days to mull it over, but we've got options. So I'll crack on and see what height we're going to have. Right, okay, it's going to leave me around 6'3", 6'4", 186, 187, which is perfectly high enough. Floor level is basically where it will be in the end. You know, we need to take it down further, put some form of damp prevention in, but this is the floor height. It will stay at this height regardless, so we know roughly that this is where it's going to be. So 6'4" is comfortable, it's more than enough. It's whether or not I want to go with my original plan, coming off these joists at the same height, or whether I want to drop it down. Might be easier to drop it down, because if I put two of these joists, shorter versions of these joists, coming across into the front wall, and then 40-50 or probably about 30-40 centimetres over onto this wall, in the centre of the wall, 20 centimetres. It's going to give me another 15-20 centimetres either side of those, with which I can front them with an older section of wood, an older lintel, so they'll be hidden. And then on top of that, that last kind of 20 or so centimetres up to the height of the height of the joists, where these final two joists I've just got to then fill in with stone to join in with the rest of the wall, if you understand that. It will probably work better than doing it the other way, because then the two joists and the two older lintels will be sat at the same height on top of this wall, going into the front wall. The problem with that is I'm going to have to remove some of the pieces I put in, which is no great drama, but obviously I've already taken quite a bit of time, a few hours to do that, and I'm going to have to cut the large stone on the other side that's on the top. Yeah, need to have a think about that one. Right, I'm going to continue on with these joists this afternoon. I've just gone 3 Wednesday afternoon. Got another bout of football later on, England semi-final against Holland. We'll see how that pans out. So we're going to be finishing around 7, so I've got 4 hours. Hopefully I can get another 4, maybe 5 joists in this afternoon. Organised them yesterday into, I put the 2 best ones to one side, the 2 full length ones that are going in the other room once we get there, and then another pile of you know, of good ones that we can cut to put in here, and then there's 2 or 3, I think 3 or 4 that aren't great. They'll go with the other 3 that we had from before, and we're going to put them in the room next to the cabin and make a temporary floor in there so we can put some stuff in there. So it's all good. But what I need to do on the other side of the room, the wall's clear down to the right height. I need to cut into this stone roughly here. Yeah, still a bit precarious, it's right in the middle of this column. I think we'll probably, yeah, we'll probably kind of go up to where the wall is. We'll cut this stone out and the top of this stone here where you can see the laser level line hopefully, and drop this one in. It'll probably be sitting a little bit shorter onto this wall than what the others are, but it's the only one. The next one along is in this recess, and the next one, and then the others are in the main wall there. So this is the only one that's into this pillar. Hedge on the side of course. And what was that? I think it was edge on the side of caution, and we'll not go as far into this as what we've done with the others, but I think for this one end I don't think it's going to make a difference. It'll be fine. It's going to be at least 20 centimetres over, so we'll be okay. So we'll get on and get this cut out steadily, and yeah, like I say, get some more joists in. Right, I've reached a point where the next joist is going to sit above this window. This recess. I'm going to take off the render on the top side just to see exactly what we've got. Because if it's anything like what we've got in other areas with windows like this, it'll be a big, really big solid piece of stone, and we should be alright to sit the joist end on top of it. But I need to make sure, because obviously if this is in any way, shape or form relatively weak, then I don't need to be putting a joist on here, and we need to kind of reconfigure or think of how we're going to do it. So we'll get this render off and see what we've got. Noisy though. So clearly we've got this big stone, basically tapers down towards the outer wall. It's probably about 15 centimetres so thick. It's going well over the wall at each side, a good 10-15 centimetres. But The obvious problem I've got is that's where my lintel would need to be, my joist, sorry, which is almost cutting it in two, which will just significantly weaken it. I can't put it on top of there. So we need to think again. Or something. We'll figure it out.